I was sitting on a remote beach and all of a sudden the air was filled with the sound of dozens of bells echoing around the cliffs. The land and sea came alive with the vibrations, and it opened up a new way of experiencing the landscape. I could sense the rhythm of the universe calling me to dance. It's a wonderful experience in its own right, but more than that, the more we tune into that rhythm and cooperate with it, the easier we will find the challenges and battles we face in our daily lives. From small moments of little decisions we have to make, to dealing with relationships, connections and conflicts, to the huge choices we face at times. Decisions which will take our lives in totally new directions, like changing career, moving home, or starting a new business venture. Well, hello from Skiathos. This is the Greek island where we're exploring the relationship between landscape, soulscape, and a creative life. I'm Rick, an artist and mystic from England, and I spend my time here making art and working with the wild energies of the island. Today, we're going to explore this experience of getting in touch with the vibrations and harmonies of the land, soul, and body. And how, when we do that, it can help us to grow and move forward in our lives. Particularly if we're confronted with daunting moments where we have to step out into the unknown through the fear and trepidation that can accompany those courageous steps. A few days ago, I was sitting on one of the wildest beaches on the island, Lahuni Beach. It has a remarkable rugged shape and a fierce energy as the rocky cove funnels the east wind up the valley. Very often the sea swell there makes it an intimidating place to swim, unlike some of the softer, sandier beaches where most of the tourists spend their time. Well, I was sitting there with my partner, with the whisper of the wind and the waves, and suddenly the air was filled with the sound of bells. The cliffs formed an amphitheatre as a flock of goats made their way around the bay, ringing the bells around their necks. It reminded me a bit of a gong bat who lie down in meditation as someone gently chimes singing bowls and bells to resonate with and activate the different energies in your body and soul. This gong bat was more chaotic and wilder. The sounds were rising and falling amidst the crashing of the waves. Have a listen. Hear the frequency of the waves, the different frequencies of the bells. Everything has its rhythm. Sometimes in sync and in harmony, other times dissonant, working against each other, but always in motion and flow. This is the way the universe is, and it's the way we are. Everything is vibration. Everything is resonating, waves rippling out from our being. The sound of the bells, the ripples of the waves, most obviously, but every moment a new rise and fall. But see the rocks too. Their waves are measured in millennia rather than in seconds. Mountain ranges rising and falling with the aeons. The sun with its rhythm of light and dark each day, and the days in their rhythm of brightness and coolness with each season. Even light itself rippling out to fracture into glorious spectrums of colour. Some we can see with our eyes and some that are way beyond our seeing. This isn't just fairy tale thinking. The ripples can be seen in the mathematics that describes the world and the universe. For example, the Fibonacci sequence, it appears in the spirals of seeds in a sunflower head and the twist in a nautilus shell deep in the ocean, and thousands of other places we could look. Equations for harmonic resonance govern the way that atoms interact and how galaxies churn with stars across thousands of light years of space. All of it in rhythm, all of it in vibration and harmony. And here we are in the midst of it all. A human being with our pulsing heart, the breath in our lungs rising and falling, our daily rhythm of waking and sleeping, the flow of emotions that arise in our hearts, love blossoming, anger surging, joy leaping, and across the decades, our generational rhythm of birthing, living, dying. Whether we like it or not, we are in the midst of a universal dance. All of us. I don't know what you're like when confronted with a dance floor. Some of us shrink back and sit in the shadows. Some of us leap up to crave the spotlight. For me, if I've had a few drinks, then you might be able to persuade me to join in. But this dance, the universal dance, like it or not, we don't get a choice over. We're in the midst of it right now, you and I, in this moment of connection. We're in it with the air you breathe, with the electricity you're using to power whatever device you're watching this on. The question isn't, are you going to join the dance? But how will you choose to dance? Because there are ways to engage that will make life feel harsh and sluggish to us and to those around us. And there are ways to dance that bring delight to ourselves and to others. There are ways to engage with it that fight against the natural flow and will leave us feeling stagnant and stuck at best, or else worn out from fighting a losing battle, or even worse. And then there are ways to cooperate with the flow of energy that emerges around us and from within us. As with so many wise ways of being, all of this starts with listening. Sensing the rhythm around us every morning, asking what energy is emerging today. There may be difficult things to face. We may feel trapped in our bodies as we lie in bed due to illness. We may feel a surge of creative energy and vigour. There may very well be fixed responsibilities that will form part of our rhythm. Going to work, making lunch for the children, chopping wood for the fire. These duties, whether joyful or onerous, are also part of the dance. But we also need to ask the question, what is the energy around me? It's springtime in Greece at the moment here, and the olive grove is bursting with new life, festooned with wildflowers and busy insects. So we ask the question, what energy, what rhythm is calling me today? To rest and take it slow, to be industrious and busy, to try something new and take a risk, to contact someone you've not spoken to for years. open your heart to the infinite possibilities of the rhythm vibrating all around us. This is a painting that I made after a time meditating on the same beach at Lahuni a few months ago. The wind was roaring in from the sea, and the shape of the valley funnels the power of the air at Lahuni. The waves surge up the beach in quite an intimidating manner, and the wind can knock you off your feet. As part of my meditation, I stood facing the sea and yelled at the top of my voice. And my voice went nowhere. It was thrown back in my face by the power of the surging wind. It was a fight that I had no chance of winning at all. But then I stood with my back to the waves and the wind. And instead of feeling the wind as an opposing force, I felt it pressing on my back, supporting me, holding me up. And then, with the wind at my back, I only needed to speak in a whisper, and the power of the air carried my voice all the way up the valley to the heart of the island. Here's the thing. Life flows more easily when we cooperate with the way the wind is blowing for us. If we fight the rhythm that's vibrating around us, we will stumble and struggle and expend so much energy going nowhere. But if we take the time to listen and sense the vibration of flow, the harmonies resonating around us, and if we choose to cooperate with that, then even the gentlest whisper, the smallest action, will be magnified and lifted into something wonderful. And this is where we find a way through if we're daunted by fear of what lies ahead, even fear of failure with a task we have to complete, a life change we feel we need to make, a new project we want to begin. First, sit and listen to where we are in the midst of the rhythm. It might be a time to pause for breath rather than calling us to immediate action. It might be a time to sense whether or not we're facing in the right direction. We may not have fully discerned the right way forward and may well need more time to get our bearings. Or the wind and the waves may indeed be surging in our direction, the energy rising within us to move forward. And if so, yes, it's time to move, to speak, to make that phone call or send that email, to apply for that course, to ask that person on a date. But we can do so not because we're certain of success, but because we are sure that this is the next step in the dance. There's nothing to fear from what comes next. That will be the next step beyond this in the rhythm. And then you will be a different person in a different place. All we need to concern ourselves about in this moment is where we are called to move with the universal rhythm today. This is a mantra I often use in my morning meditation. Today I participate in the universal dance. I listen and sense the rhythm that is shaping my movement in each moment. Today I participate in the universal dance. I listen and sense the rhythm that is shaping my movement in each moment. And we can make this a daily practice. Instead of waking up and fretting about all the things we have to do or the things we think we ought to do but never get round to, or that we want to do but are too afraid to take the next step. First, take the time to tune into the rhythm, the harmonies vibrating around us. That can be the energies of the landscape, the energies in our own bodies. Some days we may well simply be worn out and the rhythm is telling us to ease off the gas. And also the energies of those around us. For example, working in a team, and one day everyone is in sync and raring to go, whereas other days the group is disjointed and at odds with each other, so a different approach is needed. The liberating realization is that one situation is not better or worse than another. It's simply part of the rhythm and flow. If energy is low on one day, it will return eventually. I often find this when accompanying artists on their spiritual journeys, when they're facing a dry spell, which we all face from time to time, and they feel no inspiration, and all the creative work seems stale and empty. It's time to rest, restore, and trust that the creative flow will return as surely as the ebb and flow of the tide. One way to tune into this each day is to set aside 10 or 15 minutes in your day. Find a place where you won't be disturbed. Be still. Breathe deeply. Take a moment to come home to your body and connect to whatever energy you're feeling without judgment. And then stretch out your senses. Maybe place your hand on the floor, or if you're outside, on a tree or a rock. Start to sense the deeper vibrations below the surface. Even now, if we pause for a moment, you may be able to feel the resonance of perhaps distant traffic, swirling wind, someone talking on the phone next door. These aren't distractions. They're all part of the field of vibration that we're inhabiting. And then, if you have decisions to make, stretch out your awareness to sense the feel of the energy in that space. Are there people you need to talk to? How does that feel? Hopeful or full of trepidation or something else? How does that all resonate in your body? This is all information to enable you to move or not to move with wisdom and skill. And as you sense all of this, again, bring the mantra to mind. Today I participate in the universal dance. I listen and sense the rhythm that is shaping my movement in each moment. Once you begin to feel the music, the universal music, trust yourself. Trust your body and soul. Step out and continue to dance. Now, if a one-to-one video call be helpful as you explore these rhythms, I've got over 15 years of experience accompanying people on their spiritual journeys. So drop me a message and we can discuss what might work for you. Also, if you'd be interested in having your personal story and experience expressed in a piece of art, then I'd be really happy to work with you. A painting like this, or a little sculpture or talisman like these driftwood paintings, or whatever would be helpful to you. Send me a message or follow the link attached to this channel. Now, thank you for listening. I hope you have a peaceful and gentle day. I'll be here again next week with more journeys of art, soul and landscape. Lots of love.